All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. And what I want to get into, today, is we in that time of the year, all right, that season, of our people, showing their allegiance, to the society, all right, which is called the election year. Dealing with the U.S. presidency, okay, and our people, have this unmovable, okay, alliance with the Democratic Party. So I was just, researching some things today, listening to the brothers GMS, Hawaii, when they was going into the scam, dealing with the civil rights. So it just, spirit provoked me to do some research. You go into the Reconstruction era, okay, which is post, Civil War between the North and the South, the Union, all right, of the North and the Confederacy of the South. And going into the Jim Crow era, which was a response, to the Reconstruction era, and you just go into the history of these politics and you just hear all these things about the Democrats, which both parties, okay, don't, neither party has our people best interests in mind, never have, okay. But you go back into, the history of the Democrats, that was, responsible for Jim Crow, okay, because the Republicans, was mainly in the North, and they was pushing, for, equal rights and, citizenship for Jake. But that was pretty much, a gimmick, to get Jake to move up north to come work in those plants. Okay, to persuade Jake to, move north, for a better life, to work in those plants, because those Republicans, it was mainly businessmen. Okay, and as you had the industrial boom, take hold in in America, mainly in those cities in the north, you had a lot of Jakes, migrate, from the racism, all right, the terrorism, because even the Klan, all right, the Ku Klux Klan, was a product of the Democratic Party. I'm just learning all these things, and the nigga is a diehard Democrat to this day, and just so shows, the simplicity of our people, which we was in that simplicity as well. We would inherit, these, these blind, traditions, of our forefathers. Okay, our people, our mothers and fathers, and, grandfathers, grandmothers, and we inherited, blind traditions from them. Okay, but as apostles, through the spirit of how Bashim Al Shai, the apostles, they're big on pushing us to search things out. So when we search things out, we find, okay, at the end of the day, the devil never meant us any good. Okay, he was always the devil, So I want to touch on, let's go here, because this is the condition that our people are in now. This is Isaiah 42, okay, in 18. It says, "Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see." And I want to read verse 19 in the NLT. "Who is blind as my own people, my servant? Who is as deaf as my messenger? Who is as blind as my chosen people, the servant of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai?" Because when you look at it as a whole, our people as a whole, there's no one more lost but think they got it than our people. Okay? There's no one that's more lost and more behind on how things actually work, who their enemy is, who they are. Okay, there's no one there's more lost in every category, economically, okay, historically, okay, family, structure, okay. There's no one there's more lost. There's no people that's more lost and behind but think they got it than our people, man. Okay? So when you read verse 20, it says, seeing many things, but thou observest not, open the ears, but he heareth not. Okay? And that's the condition of our people now. If they're, rally behind Kamala, all right? You got some niggas, niggas for Trump, hoes for Kamala. Okay, but at the end of the day, all right, you're both, going to the same fate. Okay? Different interstates to the same city of destruction, man. Okay? So let's go here. All right, this is Lamentations 4 and 17. All right. It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. And it said, as for us, our eyes, all right, as for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us, man. And our people continually watch, okay, for a nation that can't save them. They're always looking for every source of help and aid and relief outside of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. And the main people they look to is the people that hate them the most, Esau Edom. All right, the nationality that has their worst interests in mind. That's who our people trust the most. And that's part of the byproduct of Christianity, man. Okay, that love, forgive, accept, and the so-called white man is God. Okay, that's the only thing Christianity has done for our people. Has turned the lights off more in the dark. Okay, so let's go here. And then I got a few clips I want to play. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 30. Okay, and I read this in the NLT, Isaiah 30 and 1. It says, "What sorrow awaits my rebellious children, says the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. You make plans that are contrary to mine. You make alliances not directed by my spirit, thus piling up your sins." Okay, and you see, the more our people trust in the devil, the further this devil takes our people away from Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Till you have the average Jake is anti-Messiah. The average Jake hates the Bible, hates any type of order, instruction, anything to do, with life, you know. And Esau following, our people following Esau, they have became very contrary to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, and they just get worse and worse as a people, and that's gotta be continually thankful that we got pulled, out of that and brought into this life, man, and started to be healed by this word. Okay, verse 2, it says, "For without consulting me, you have gone down to Egypt for help. You have put your trust in Pharaoh's protection. You have tried to hide in his shade," which is their protection. Okay, and our people, because here it is, the Lord has raised up the prophets, and that's how you consult, okay, with Yahweh Bashem Al Shai through the prophets. Okay, and our people completely ignore. All right, there's no acknowledgement of the prophets. Okay, but they lean into trusting in Pharaoh, which is modern day Esau Edom, in this system. Okay, hoping that this place can be healed and hoping that they get some type of fair shake. All right, from the nation that hates them, man. Verse 3 says, "But trusting in Pharaoh, you will be humiliated, and by depending on him, you will be disgraced," man. Okay, and we're finna see where trusting, all right, Esau Edom is going to end up. Okay, because as this devil plans on, going forth with his NWO, all right, his new order, all right, he plans to bring a lot of torment and hell to you Israelites, man, to the earth in general, to America. Okay, it's gonna be the worst in America, you see. But it's gonna be a special target on you Israelites that have trusted this man for so long, okay, and refused to turn this man loose, man. Okay, you can't pry a nigga or a nigga woman off the system, all right, of Edomite supremacy, man. Okay, the image of the beast. Okay, so I got a few videos. Like I said, I was watching a little bit dealing with the Jim Crow and the Reconstruction era. So what you had, so-called emancipation, all right, proclamation in '65, all right, through Lincoln, who was a Republican, which, his mindset, was to get labor, from the South to the North, because emancipation goes into a transfer. So pretty much a transfer from that labor, all right, that slave labor from the South to the North. Okay, Harriet Tubman. Okay, it was nothing but propaganda. All right, to get Jake, to look at the North as some type of salvation. And in 1866, they passed certain, had passed an amendment, with a bill, dealing with civil rights in 1866 that gave Jake, certain equalities. So what you had, in 77, which was like 11 years later, you had them devils in the South, that didn't want to see Jake, okay, in any type of prosperity, okay. They came with what you call the Jim Crow era, which was a very crafty way to be, to pretty much to weaponize the law, okay, against Jake, but still try to justify it, okay, with what you call the Jim Crow era, okay. So we're gonna play a little bit of this, all right, and this is dealing with certain neighborhoods that was thriving and showing you how that, even when we wasn't, we didn't have the full truth, but us just sticking together as a family, all right, the nuclear family of the husband, the wife, the children, okay, the community, everybody, moving, some type of unity, Jake naturally thrives, But then Esau, because he would physically destroy, places where Jake was thriving, but ultimately he had to destroy the minds of our people through enchantments, through feminism, okay, through street culture, all right, and through what we see today, drill and thought culture, man, okay, alphabet, which a lot of that was brought in by who? The Democratic Party, okay, Kamala, what does she present to you niggas? Lil Jon, Megan, the Stallion, Quavo, degeneracy, man, okay, to keep your minds destroyed, all right. So this is when they was physically terrorizing Jake as the Democrats, the Democratic South. But now, as these liberal Democrats, they just destroy Jake's mind, man, to get Jake to destroy themselves. Okay? So let's play this.
Despite the resurgence of white supremacy, African Americans in the bustling seaport city of Wilmington, North Carolina, held on to the gains they had made after emancipation and built a thriving black community. They fellowshipped together in churches, bonded with one another in fraternal organizations, and cared for each other through benevolent societies. They worked as professionals in government, banking, and newspaper publishing, as skilled artisans in industry, and on maritime crews at sea. And they participated in politics, voting into office black and white Republicans. But much of what they gained was wiped out on November 10th, 1898, by a mob hell-bent on reestablishing white supremacist rule. For months, Wilmington's white elite led by members of the Democratic Party, had been conspiring to get rid of the city's Republican office holders. They feigned outrage and incredulity about an editorial in the Daily Record, a local black newspaper published by Alexander Manly. Manly had called out white men for attempting to justify lynching by saying they were only trying to stop sexual assaults on white women by black men, when white people knew that the main perpetrators of sexual violence were white men and the primary victims were black women. 2 days after Wilmington voters elected a predominantly Republican municipal government, an armed white mob, easily numbering over 1,000, marched on Manly's office, fully intending to lynch him. The men at the head of the mob were not rogue actors, but leading lights in the community, such as former Democratic Congressman Alfred Moore Waddell. Manly knew his life was in danger and fled the city well before the rioters arrived. But that didn't stop the mob from destroying his printing equipment and setting his office on fire. It also didn't stop them from rampaging through the black community, killing as many as 60 African Americans.
The best place for creators to make money in the creator economy is Kajabi.
You don't need a huge following.
Killing as many as 60 African Americans. But the mob's work was not yet done. They ordered the legitimately elected Republican members of the municipal government to vacate their offices and abandon the city under penalty of death. Fearing for their lives, some 20 black elected officials and civic leaders joined Manly in exile. In their absence, white supremacists took their seats, with the head of the mob, former Congressman Alfred Waddell, seizing the mayor's office. The coup, orchestrated by Democrats, had succeeded. White supremacists installed a new government, and state authorities recognized it immediately. The impact of the armed overthrow of the Wilmington municipal government would be felt for generations. Some 2,100 African Americans were forced to leave the city to save their own lives. Many never returned, weakening the social networks and institutions at the heart of the black community. Black participation in government ended and wouldn't resume until federal voting rights protections were put in place in the 1960s. Black economic activity steadily declined as black businesses were forced to close and black workers faced heightened employment discrimination. And black schools, teachers, and students suffered from decreased funding from the lily-white government, resulting in a marked decline in the black literacy rate. The Wilmington Massacre was not an anomaly. White mobs burned black communities, murdered African Americans, and dispossessed black people of their property in Pierce City, Missouri in 1901, Springfield, Illinois in 1908, East St. Louis, Illinois in 1917, Elaine, Arkansas in 1919, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street in 1921, Rosewood, Florida in 1923, and Detroit, Michigan in 1943. Rather than an aberration, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street in 1921, Rosewood, Florida in 1923, and Detroit, Michigan.
All these Jake communities that was thriving. Okay, all the way up into 1943, and that's why in the 60s, you know, these devils, all right, the serpent Amalek. Okay, he went out to Jake mine, you know, first what going to Eve, you know, the feminist movement. okay, that took root. Okay, sexual liberation, getting the women out the house, up from under the man. Okay, eventually getting the man out the house, bringing in welfare, and bringing in the madness of a culture, what you have today. Okay, which is pushed heavily by the Democrats. Look what Obama did. Okay, we'll go back to Clinton. You associate Clinton, okay, with being black just off because he smoked some weed. Okay, uh, 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 you know, uh, uh, you know, got some, he was over sexualized, with the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. Okay, you associate that with black. That's what you identify with. Obama. Okay, what did he do? He brought the alphabet people to you. Okay, made that a part of your identity. You see? And Biden, all right, he continued that, and there's no telling what Kamala has planned to destroy you niggas' minds. And you already see a preview, with the madness that she's bringing. So I want to play one more that kind of go into the history.
Okay. T-Mobile savings, take one.
Miss me.
Try just standing and say, at T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits and you can still save versus the other guys. Forget it. Check out the T-Mobile savings calculator to see how much you can save.
Are these my only lines?
Sure are.
The Democratic Party was once the party of white supremacy, supporting slavery and the Ku Klux Klan. To understand how the party made such a huge shift, you have to go back to its origins in the mid-1820s, when it sprung up supporting the presidential candidacy of a popular former general, Andrew Jackson. Jackson was an outsider, challenging the political establishment and the elites of his day.
The Indian killer, all right, the Trail of Tears, okay, what he did against, Gad, which are Israelites, and Reuben, okay, Democrat.
And his critics disparaged him as a jackass. But Jackson embraced the animal as a symbol of determination, and donkeys started appearing in newspapers to represent him and his followers. In the 1828 presidential election, which saw record-breaking popular participation, Jackson won in a landslide victory. So his supporters argued that they, and not the old elites, represented the popular will of the country, and they started calling themselves the Democratic Party. Jackson's administration immediately began expelling Native Americans living east of the Mississippi River, an issue that defined the new administration. After he signed the Indian Removal Act into law in 1830, 5 large tribes were rounded up and forcibly marched into territories and camps further west. And the Democrats' ambitions didn't stop there. In the 1840s, the party adopted the doctrine of manifest destiny, the idea that Americans, white Americans, were divinely entitled to dominate the whole North American continent. Democratic President James K. Polk put this idea into action, massively expanding U.S. holdings by annexing Texas, acquiring Oregon, and winning much of what's now the southwestern U.S. in a war with Mexico. But soon afterward,
a war with Issachar. Okay. All right, and this is the Democrat Party, man. All-out war with the tribes.
National politics devolved into bitter controversy over whether new states entering the Union should be permitted to allow slavery. Democrats said they should, since their support base was strongest in slaveholding states. Yet a new Northern party, the Republicans, sprang up in opposition to expanding slavery any further. When Republican Abraham Lincoln won the presidency, the South seceded and the Civil War began. Once the Civil War was over, the Republican Party was bitterly unpopular among white Southerners who wanted to maintain supremacy over former slaves. So the Democratic Party promised to limit federal government intervention on behalf of black citizens. Democrats became effectively the only political party in the South, aided by intimidation and suppression of black voters. Democrats also won on state and local levels, leading to the constant abuse of the rights of black citizens. As the 20th century began, the country was changing, and the Democratic Party was changing too. A handful...
So, that's pretty much the point with that. To see the origin of democracy. Okay. So, let's get this here, man, because at the end of the day, all right, this devil is finished. And our people that trust in him, they're going to be finished, man. All right, it's going to end bad for Jake, man. Okay, like I say, it's going to be that humiliation, man. But the Lord got this nigga number, man. Okay, this is Ezekiel 35. Okay, and all right, and I started at 1. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, which is Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee. I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Ahoshai, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time their calamity, all right, in the time of their calamity, in the time, all right, that their iniquity had an end. So this devil never stopped. You know, he never stopped. He was always up to some scheme, you know, to destroy us as a people, man. Okay, and the Lord is finna go to war with this devil, you know, as the Lord put the spirit, you know, has allowed, you know, favor and grace to come to the elect, put the spirit on us to repent. And as we cry out, all right, the Lord's finna judge the devil, man, because this new order that Esau wants to bring, okay, is nothing but another level of oppression, you know, for Jake, man. Of course, it's oppression for these heathens, okay, but you know, it's always a special type of oppression and hatred that he has towards Jake, man, to keep us at the very bottom, man. But the Lord, all right, is finna put an end, okay, to this devil, man, okay, and his rulership and wickedness, man. Okay, so that's the point. Lord will you brothers and you sisters edify. Till next time I say shalom.